All right, let's look at the SEC.
It means more.
It does. It just means more. Alabama versus Georgia. This one in Atlanta. And Georgia laying anywhere between, there's 5s, 5.5s, and 6s. So shop around. Not that those are super key numbers, but shop around. 54.5 is the total. Georgia's been underwhelming against the spread this year, 4-8 ATS. But man, I've been saying I'm going to back Alabama, back Bama, especially if I knew I was getting 6. I kind of expected to get 4. I would have loved to just see a better effort than I got last week against Auburn. It was it's a little disconcerting. The win is nice, but you can't even call that a sleepy spot. You were on the road against your in-state rival.
Yep.
They struggled on both sides in that game.
If that pass is incomplete, this game means nothing for Alabama because even with the win, they wouldn't get in.
Yeah. It's funny. I wonder if it would mean anything. Like, would it mean anything for Georgia? Would Georgia get in with a loss?
Maybe.
I mean, it's a weird situation, but here's what I think. Georgia, a couple times this year, this is me trying, RJ would be mad at me for trying to play X's and O's here. Georgia, a couple times this year when they've gone against running quarterbacks, have had a hard time containing them. It happened last week against Georgia Tech. It happened earlier in the year against Auburn. And I think Georgia is going to prioritize taking away the legs of Jalen Milroe because you have to choose one. You're either going to take away his legs or you're going to take away the deep ball. I believe Jalen Milroe is one of the best deep ball throwers in college football. I mean, we saw it, 4th and 31.
Yeah,
that was a dime, and I don't know that there are any players in college football who throw a better deep ball than Jalen Milroe does. But I think that Milroe can take over this game. We have seen him improve as much as anyone this season. Like you think about back to the Texas game, and then after that Texas game, Saban was basically like, okay, Tommy Reese, you want to play your guys? You want to show that you think they're better than Milroe? Go ahead. Mm-hmm. And they almost lost to South Florida because neither one of those quarterbacks could play. They bring Milroe back, and he's not going to win the Heisman, but I think he's gotten to where he almost warrants discussion. And if there was a world where he could win the Heisman this year, you saw his Heisman moment, 4th and 31.
Yeah.
Like he's had more of a Heisman moment than the guys who are going to be in New York. That said, I just trust him. I trust him on third downs more than I trust Carson Beck. Carson Beck has spent this entire season in manageable situations because what's Georgia do? They have success on early downs, and it takes a lot of pressure off Carson Beck, who's like some 70-something% passer. He's a crazy percent because the only time he really has to throw is 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. And I'm not saying that's easy, but it's a lot easier than 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. I think Alabama puts Georgia in some 3rd and 7s here. And I think that Bama's run defense is going to give Georgia some problems. And I've been saying this Georgia team is not as good as they were the last 2 seasons. This is the time to back it. I think these teams are probably separated by 3 or 4 points. So 6 on a neutral, that's the side I got to take. So I'll say roll Tide.
I think we see points in this one. And I know we talk about defenses here, but 13 of the last 15 SEC champions, 19 of the last 22 have scored at least 30 points in the SEC title game. And I think that if you're asking me which offense is more capable of putting up 30 points, it's Georgia's right now. Carson Beck is completing over 72% of his passes, and they've scored 30 points in 10 of their 12 games this year. And when Alabama faced a good offense, a ranked team in Texas, they gave up over 30 points.
Yeah.
I gave out a derivative on this game on pregame.com, but I think we're going to see points because I do think Alabama's going to score, but I think we see points between both of these teams.